Alright, so this is my review of the AC/DC album Fly on the Wall. It was released in 1985 and produced by Angus and Malcolm. This is the first album where Simon Wright plays drums. Uh, so this was one of the albums that, like, when I was growing up getting into AC/DC, I didn't know anybody that had this album. I think, well, my uncle has it on vinyl, but I didn't know about that at the time. So I was, like, the first person I knew that bought this of like, my group of friends. And I had read reviews about it and read some stuff about it. I knew that it kind of like Flick of the Switch wasn't one of the more like popular AC/DC albums when it came out. And when I listened to this album the first couple times, I definitely, like, it wasn't one of my favorite AC/DC albums. I thought that most of the songs were kind of forgettable and that it didn't really sound that great production-wise, which I still kind of think that, but on listening to it now, I think that some of the songs are quite a bit better than what I thought initially. I'm not sure if I think this album's quite as strong as Flick of the Switch, the one before. That one I thought was really underrated as far as the songs went. This one I think is not quite that good, and definitely doesn't sound as good. Like, Flick of the Switch was also produced by the band or self-produced, and it sounded a lot better. This album just sounds like really weird. I think that maybe Brian Johnson's voice was like changing around this time, or they were like, maybe he was having some problems with it or something, because the production on the vocals on this album are really weird. The first song, actually, Fly on the Wall, I think it's a really good song, but the vocals are just like really weird. You can barely like tell what he's saying, and it sounds like there's like a lot of echo on them or something on this album. So it just Brian's vocals on the album sound really weird, and it's kind of just not the best sounding album in general. So like I was saying, the first song, The Fly on the Wall, I think it's probably one of the best songs on the album. Pretty good title track, pretty memorable, and good way to start the album. The second song, Shake Your Foundations, is a song that I had actually heard before I got this album. I think this is probably like the best song on the album. It's always kind of been, I don't know if it's like one of my top 10 AC/DC favorite songs, but it's definitely up there for me as like one of their songs that's kind of, I think, is underrated, or like one of my more underrated favorites. The third song, First Blood, isn't a bad song. It's one of the ones I didn't think was extremely memorable, but I thought it had some cool guitar parts on it. Today, because I listened to this album twice before doing this review, once like last week because I was going to film it last week and I just didn't have time. And I listened to it once today, but I was doing something else while I was listening to it, so like I can't really remember the songs that well, but I do remember liking this one more today than I thought I did last time. So this is definitely an album that has sunk in more over time as I've listened to it. The fourth song, Danger, was kind of a slower song. It was one of the songs where I didn't think Brian's vocal sound is messed up, like production-wise, as some of the other songs, and so I liked it, and I thought it was one of the pretty good songs, or better songs on the album because of that. The fifth song, Sink the Pink, is another song I liked. It's got some cool guitar in it. I had actually heard that before I got this album too, I think on the Family Jewels DVDs. The sixth song, Playing with Girls, a song I like the guitar on, but it was another one where the vocal production kind of like screwed it up for me a little bit. I think I might have liked it better if the production had been like a little bit better on it. The seventh song, Stand Up, is I don't really remember it that well. What did I write? God, my handwriting's so bad. I think that from what I remember and like what it kind of says here that I wrote, I thought that the verse parts were better than the chorus of the song, but it was like kind of an okay song. Uh, the eighth song, Hell or High Water, it's kind of the chorus part of it was stuck in my head earlier. Uh, it's an okay song, not one of the better. I think I said this in one of my earlier videos that I always felt like almost every AC/DC song that has Hell in the title is a really good song. This might be like the weakest song of theirs that has Hell in the title. Maybe I should do that, like rank a video of AC/DC songs with Hell in the title. This one might come in last though, but it's not like a bad song or anything. It's just not like extremely memorable. The ninth song, Back in Business, is one that I actually like more. I find it pretty catchy. I like the guitar in it, so that's one of the songs that I used to not really notice much, but on a couple repeated listens, I kind of find that one sticking out, and I like it quite a bit. And the 10th song, Sin for the Man, is another one that, like, the production kind of bothered me and kind of made it a little hard to get into the rest of the song. So Fly on the Wall, I think, like, overall, it's really not a bad album. And I don't know, it's not like one of my more favorite AC/DC albums, but it's definitely got like some really solid tracks on it. I mean, Shake Your Foundations, Back in Business, Fly on the Wall. It's got some really good songs on it. Still not one that I listen to a whole lot, but that honestly might change now, because I definitely think that after listening to it again for these reviews, I have a better appreciation of it, and I think a lot more highly of it now than I definitely did before I went into this. So I'd say I'd give it a 3 out of 5 though. Probably about where I thought I was going to rank it, because I don't think they really have any albums that go to like what I consider a 2 level. But I mean, I wouldn't start with this as like my first AC/DC album if I was anybody. I'd like wait a while to pick this one up if you've got like a bunch of their other albums and you still want to hear the rest. This one's pretty good. I think it's better than some of the ones coming up. So anyway, pretty decent album, but the production could be better.